Hey everybody, Patrick here. It's Monday. I just got back to my office from Milwaukee. I was down with the Illinois delegation on the first day of the Republican National Convention for my Illinois newsletter, theillinois.com, and just wanted to share some thoughts with you on the last couple of days, I guess, of our political crazy situation that we're in, and how everything is shaking out with the Republican National Convention this week in Milwaukee. I was down south in downtown Milwaukee. I was down kind of by the airport where the Illinois delegation is. So probably still another at least 20 minutes away from Pfizer Forum in downtown Milwaukee. I'm not going to be down that far into the mess at all this week, but just wanted to share some thoughts as to what I saw and heard this morning. Uh, Again, Illinois, blue state, going to stay a blue state. Donald Trump's lost Illinois by 1 million votes twice, and probably going to lose Illinois by 1 million votes or close to that again this time. So not a huge battleground state, or one that Donald Trump would even expect to be competitive in. But here's the main takeaway I took from Illinois Republicans, who have essentially been on an endangered list in the state of Illinois in recent years, after gerrymandering, after the way Donald Trump has hurt the party in the suburbs of Chicago. There was so much confidence among Republican elected officials and delegates when I was there today. I even put this on Twitter. It's like this is the most confident Illinois Republicans have been about the results of a presidential election since probably 2004. And George W. Bush wasn't even a slam dunk to win re-election at that point in 2004. So it could even be back to 84 when I was still in diapers. It's an exceptional turnaround for a guy who 6 or 8 months ago we were almost sure was going to get creamed. It's just this incredible turn of events that we really never expected to happen quite like this. A ton of things started to change a couple of weeks ago after that debate in June, and everybody knows, everybody saw firsthand that President Biden put on a terrible show. And I have been a Biden, I don't even want to say defender, because I've been very critical of his policies and the way he's managed his office, and the way I've been let down by him as a guy who was kind of hoping for a return to normal after President Biden was elected in 2020, and especially after January 6th. I was clear over the years that over the last few years, last couple of years at least, that he's obviously lost a step. Joe Biden in 2022, Joe Biden in 2020 wasn't Joe Biden in 2008 or before, when he was in the Senate. Clearly, age had taken a toll. But what we saw in that debate was troubling, and not just to Republicans, not just to Democrats, but to the very important small sliver of the electorate here, the independents that are going to decide this election. Remember, it doesn't matter what some moderate voter in California thinks, or some independent leaning conservative who doesn't like Donald Trump on Long Island. It's about this small swath of voters, specifically in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And they saw Joe Biden and they thought, oh my God, this guy can't drive a car, much less run our country. That's a really hard situation to come back from if you're the Democrats, because he's in such a position now that you can't climb out. I mean, he has to go and do a decathlon to convince people that he's up for the job. And he very simply can't do that, of course, at this point. Add the shooting on top of that, the attempted assassination of former President Trump last weekend in Pennsylvania, which was shocking, horrible, sad. I agree with all the commentary that we have to turn the temperature down in this country. And I wrote something in my state newsletter today that our political opponents are our competition. They're not our enemy. I worked a lot of campaigns over the years. mostly for Republicans, not all, but mostly for Republicans. And I for sure over the years got way too into it and thought this guy, this woman are going to ruin our lives, ruin our country. This person's bad for America. They're not the enemy, they're the competition. I don't want Donald Trump dead. I wanted a Republican who could beat him. I want a Democrat with a pulse or a moderate position or a path to govern the United States that can beat him. I want to beat fair and square. I want him to go away so somebody can save the Republican Party because it's sure as heck not going to be him. So, and we haven't seen polling, of course, so we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. If Trump's going to get a bounce after this shooting, how they're going to play it up at the convention. And let's be clear, these are TV people, okay? Trump's got a TV brain, and they are going to play this strongman fighter image up all week in Milwaukee. And all they really have to do, they don't even have to mention Joe Biden's name. I am a strong fighter for you, for America, for your tax dollars. That's the only message. The strong man, the fighter, that's what's going to resonate. And I don't know how Democrats find a way to turn that around at this point. It's July 15th. It's a long way from saying this race is over. But boy, oh boy, they're in really bad shape. JD Vance is likely to be the Republican nominee for vice president. He is going to be skewered in the media because he has been one of the worst of the flip-floppers in Trumpism. He said the things that many of us who oppose Donald Trump said in 2015 and 2016, that he's a terrible human and a bad guy and has no clue on policy and is a rapist and a bad businessman, et cetera, et cetera. He said them all. There's tape out there. Go find it. It shows that all you have to do is get on board, and Team Trump's going to be there for you. Donald Trump wants people to come crawling back to him. And if you show enough fealty, you will be rewarded. And that's the case of JD Vance. There's a long way to go here. You know, I don't think it's too late for Joe Biden to turn this around, but he's got to make a really, really big turn. And I think it's on policy. I think he has to make this an abortion election, which is going to move female voters, you know, specifically in those Milwaukee and Detroit and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia suburbs that they have to have, that are not excited about Joe Biden right now. They have to talk about tax dollars and they have to talk about inflation, and they can't keep focusing on what they think are the victories of the past, because inflation is real. People still go to the grocery store. People are still getting killed when they go there, financially killed, of course. And they need a huge change in direction in their messaging right away. It's July 15th, 113 days to election day or something like that. There's a long way to go here. Is it over? No. But if the election was today, you better believe Donald Trump would win. And that's a scary situation. We'll have more throughout the convention all week.